Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, welcome to this podcast slash conversation slash inspirational, motivational meeting. Today, I'm with the CEO of PropChain. I had a meeting with him a year ago and we did a video about PropChain, but this time we're going to do it in English and we're going to talk about the progress that PropChain has made the last couple of months. And we're also going to speak about Robin himself because this guy, he's a big name in the space. Also a big inspiration for me. Really thankful to sit here. And also this man really helped me out with a lot of stuff in Dubai to get my shit right. So, bro, welcome to the Stasher episode.
Stasher podcast.
How are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
Yeah.
Busy, but really good.
Yeah, you're really busy. This guy, I can't get to him. Like, I have to go through one guy, two guy, three guys to get to Robin. But he's working hard and really proud of him. So a year ago, we sat down and we spoke about PropChain, but it was in the Dutch version. So today, I wanted to simplify for a lot of people because, bro, I really feel like a lot of people in this crypto space don't know where they are investing in. Like they just, when I say I bought this, they also buy it, but they don't know where they are in. So PropChain is one of my bigger holdings. It's a project where it's a high conviction play for me personally. And I'm not just saying that because Robin is here. But to be honest, the last couple of months, I really saw some huge updates from the PropChain side. So you did a lot. But let's start from the beginning. Can you please tell these people, what is PropChain? What do you guys do? And where are we heading towards?
Yeah. So basically what we envision, let's start there, as being PropChain and as carrying a project and a narrative forward is that we envision a digitalized real estate value chain. And that is actually quite a broad vision if you visit that vision for the first time, right? What does that mean? I think that everybody can resonate with the fact that we have seen digitization throughout the financial industry over the past 10, 20 years. We have seen digitization in asset management, for example. We have seen digitization in trading, like the retail trading, where everyone is familiar with. I mean, if you look back 15 years in time, this was a lot less known than what it is today. And we kind of identified that real estate has always been running behind when it comes to digitizing the value chain. And basically in 2016, we kind of found ourselves already in the blockchain space. And as you know, I'm also quite an OG, so to say, when it comes to the cryptocurrency space. But a very interesting concept that came up back then was tokenization, right? So digitizing assets and bringing them on the blockchain in order to be investable, but at the same time also be tradable with all the perks that they were preaching attached to it. So basically, we followed that movement. We went looking into what is actually being tokenized, and we saw that in a very broad spectrum. We saw US Treasury bills being tokenized. We saw certain hedge funds being tokenized. We saw quite a movement. But we also saw slowly but gradually real estate assets being tokenized. And not only tokenized, being fractionalized. So being cut down in pieces pretty much for just the everyday Joe to grab up a piece of real estate, which is not an unfamiliar business model. I mean, crowdfunding is around for a long time. So that kind of inspired us because I have a real estate background myself as well, or at least traditional finance first. And I found my way into real estate by investing in real estate, financing real estate developers, and further down the line also developing real estate myself. So the initial kind of business model that we created on the PropChain was a fractionalized investment platform, like taking the technology, tokenizing some of our assets, fractionalizing first, obviously, then tokenizing them and offering them to the general public. That was kind of the first business model that we found ourselves in, and what we have also successfully developed. If you go to the App Store and you download prop.com today, you can buy a fraction of a real estate asset in the course of 5 minutes, pretty much, anywhere in the world. We have focused on Dubai because we're located here. So that was kind of the initial business model of PropChain. But whilst we were building it, we actually came to a point where we noticed that just tokenizing an asset is not necessarily creating a demand. So we noticed that the bigger volumes, the bigger money is generally not interested in a tokenized private market asset. People don't really care, right?
True.
The main USP that everybody was preaching when it came to tokenization was always, it's going to be so more liquid. We see illiquid assets like real estate now find a way higher state of liquidity because it's fractionalized and it's tradable. But that's complete bullshit, we found out over time. And the reason for that was mainly because of the fact that there was zero interest or liquidity, or nor liquidity actually, on the secondary market. People don't want to buy a fraction of an asset on the secondary market other than the people that may have bought a primary asset already, right? That already scooped up a portion of an asset within, let's say, the prop.com app. So with that in mind, we started to kind of dig further in what actually drives liquidity in markets, right? And when we noticed what that actually meant, we came up with the grand vision of PropChain, which is digitizing the entire real estate value chain, because there's so much more to liquidity than just taking an asset, slashing it in 1,000 pieces, and then hoping that anyone will pick up on that and buys that from you and then starts trading that amongst other peers. Where the actual liquidity comes from is from building a trusted ecosystem, right? Where institutional investors, asset managers, banks can actually tap into, and where they can package these fractions of assets or assets in whole, like buildings or whatsoever, and then kind of create, for example, a mortgage-backed security and start selling that to investors. When we started to analyze that industry, and we started to analyze the digitization or the level of digitization within that industry, we noticed that it was extremely early, that we were extremely early. We all know PropTech to a certain extent. I mean, we know probably Internet of Things. You now have a smart fridge and you have a smart home and you have all of these things. That is kind of PropTech. We all know Property Finder, for example, where we can go out and find ourselves a property on the web, right? This is all PropTech. So when we started to analyze the PropTech movement, we actually established like a vision of, you have PropTech 1.0, we have PropTech 2.0, and right now we're heading into PropTech 3.0 kind of. And seeing how early we were, that kind of inspired us to start developing infrastructure, mainly technological infrastructure for 4 domains, what we are covering within PropChain, which is first of all ownership. So every real estate asset globally is registered in an ownership registry. Here in Dubai, we have the Dubai Land Department, one of the most progressive land registries. They are on the blockchain, for example. In the Netherlands, we have a cadastre, for example, where we find these property data with regards to ownership. And so you have land registries all around the globe, right? Which is very fundamentally essential data to control, especially if an asset that is previously not digital is brought into like a digital world. You need to know who is the owner, or are there multiple owners, or how is this asset structured?
True.
So it kind of all starts with that ownership data. And the data right now is very siloed, right? That data resides somewhere with a land registry, and even in the land registry, especially in less developed countries, there's a lot of disparity in that data. Data lives everywhere. So that's one area where we focus on. Grabbing that data, getting that into oracles, and basically having like a centralized kind of space of where the data stays and where the data sits, so that it can be used on-chain further down the line.
For us consumers.
For you guys as consumers, yeah. Because if you want to reach further down the line a state of liquidity as well for like the accessibility that we create through, for example, prop.com, we need to make sure that that data which we require in order to verify if that asset actually exists or from who it is, that needs to be brought on chain as well, right? Because if someone else is going to buy that piece of real estate from you, they also need to make sure that they know that this property is now ours. So that's a fundamental layer of data where we are focused on. That's ownership data, and basically creating the data oracles that scrape all of that data that currently sits in silos, brings it on chain, and then have external auditors basically verify that that data is actually correct, right?
Okay.
That's the first layer.
Wow.
Yeah.
We didn't spoke about
we didn't
this the last
speak about
time.
this because in the last year we found out so much on the basis of like the challenges that we faced in generating like what everybody is preaching, right? Because the tokenization, see tokenization as kind of it's kind of a mechanism basically that makes things digital, and then it only adds a bit of value that it makes things transferable.
True.
But to be very fair, that is maybe like 10% of the overall market infrastructure that you require in order to live up to those USPs where everybody is preaching about. You know, because if you hear an RWA project now, you hear a tokenization project, they're always like, yeah, we're going to enhance the transparency, we're going to enhance the liquidity, we're going to remove borders. And that's all fun and games until you come to the point where things actually need to unfold and you find out that no one is interested in your USPs, you know? So we also kind of learned that the hard way. And something that really stuck to me a few months ago, whilst we were kind of defining what prop chain actually is and what that ecosystem should look like, is a quote of Jeff Bezos, who said, we should always think with the vision in mind to what wouldn't change in 10 years in terms of customer demand. And if you start thinking about that very practically and logically, then that basically means that we should focus with our business on things that will never change. And when we resonated or tried to resonate that with what we were building, we came to the conclusion that people will never like to pay more for their mortgages. People will never like to put more service providers in place to get an asset transferred or to do due diligence on a property. Governments would like to never pay more for the actual registries that they're owning, right? So you start thinking in a wholly different manner. And this goes for every business, by the way. This doesn't only account for us. I mean, everybody should think in a way, my customer today, in 10 years, what wouldn't he like, right? And that's kind of how we came up with this vision of we need to actually tackle the fundamental problems of real estate and focus on bottom line result, because that's where we will eventually find customers. It's where we will find traction. And at the same time, that's also where you can prove your concept and make your case, right? So that's the reason why we didn't talk about it back then, because we were just exploring.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like what you said. It was really basic.
It was really basic.
You have like a tokenized ecosystem for
real
like
estate.
Real estate. And right now I'm hearing a whole kind of different things. And data is really important in this time frame. Also, when you want to do an investment, having lots of data to draw into conclusions and to buy good property is really important. Yeah. Let's say I'm with a group, because the thing with prop chain, guys, what I really like is I'm a community-based person. Like, I like to do things together. I like to achieve great heights together. So let's say we're with the 10 of us and we're like a group who are hanging out. When we have data, we can sit down, analyze the data, really draw into conclusions and buy it with a game plan. Instead of going to a third person who is going to try and sell it without having the data, but using his marketing schemes or his selling techniques, I will buy it because he says me to buy it, but there is no data. So I really believe in data, and the fact that you scrape all of these data together and bring it into a whole and can present it to the customer is amazing, bro. So thank you. The thing is, the way you are talking right now, just to be honest, like, I'm listening as an investor because I'm invested in this project. And we are currently in the cryptocurrency space. I see a lot of projects popping up. And the thing, what really gives me a good feeling about PROPC, Robin, is you guys are not price orientated at all. You guys are building product. Yeah. You're like, when I see these projects pop up and they pay influencers huge amounts of money to push their project, you go to their website, like, I'm on a different level right now. I have read into so many projects. I can already see when it's like air or it's real. What I see with PropChain is a project, I genuinely believe that within 10 years from now, this will still exist. Like PropChain...
It should be.
It should be. But it's also one of the projects where I'm, like, with the most projects I'm holding right now, I'm planning to cash the fuck out. Like within now and 12 months, I'm out, guys. I'm gonna scale out, take my profits, and wait for the next cycle. But with a project like PropChain, it's like, even if the market would crash and you wouldn't sell your tokens, I genuinely believe that with the REA narrative coming up, you're gonna make loads of money within now and 5 to 10 years if you do your research and due diligence, because REA is the next best and big thing right now. I can tell it you myself. Today I went to rent a villa, bro. Paperwork, these.
And here it's actually already quite advanced, so to say.
It's advanced.
Looking at PropTech, it's quite revolutionary to see the processes here.
True, but still with the checks to pay the money, I have to pay it in AED. If it was tokenized, it would be so much easier. Also, I don't have the right information, so when I come there, I look at the house. I don't know is this a good location or not, so I have to use my connections to draw into good conclusions. So the thing is that with REA, I think this is going to blow up, and I wanted to ask you right now, just because I like to analyze the market as a whole, because a lot of people who are watching right now, like, you guys only want the token to go up. Sit down. Looking at the competition right now in the REA space, what separates PropChain from the rest? What makes this project different? Where are you guys better in?
Yeah, look, I think that first of all, this whole RWA space is not really about competition, in my opinion, because look, this market is huge. You're talking about if you combine the market potential of all traditional financial assets, you're looking at around 800 something trillion from the top of my head. Currently, we have a total value locked of around 4 billion on chain. I mean, looking at that, there's only collaboration, in my opinion. There's no competition. But RWA projects should be focused on building market infrastructure together and then trying to leverage on each other's TVL, which is, in my opinion, the main objective as well that we have, and also the reason why we started to build tech that actually allows us to kind of take that ecosystem foundational approach to invite other RWA projects to make use of our technology. For example, a credit protocol that needs real estate data can use our Oracle, for example, and that goes a lot broader than that. And vice versa as well. We are partnering up with a few projects in the RWA space now, which we'll soon reveal, to, for example, take data oracles from traditional financial assets. So
crazy.
I think it's not about competition. Furthermore, to get back to the token element of it, look, for us, PropC is obviously a governance token as well as a utility token. So the governance side of it is now actually integrated with the PropChain DAO that is being introduced to the market now with the foundation. It's all very fresh, by the way. This is the foundation.
I'm hearing a lot of new things.
The foundation has only been like presented. What is it? A week ago? Not even a few days ago, actually. And the DAO will be presented next week.
Okay, wait. The DAO and stuff. Baby language, please.
Yeah. So the decentralized autonomous organization that we're basically looking to present now is actually driven from the vision that we believe that. Look, what we are doing here is not a company, right? What we are doing here is really changing a narrative, is basically leading kind of a revolution into a wholly new ecosystem, pretty much, because you're talking about tokenizing, digitizing traditional finance as well as real estate. I mean, look, that is not a company doing that. That is a really big movement of companies doing that. Yeah. There's even a coalition. You have the Tokenized Asset Coalition that is on a mission to tokenize $1 trillion in assets on chain. We are also now becoming part of that, and it's driven by a whole lot of different RWA projects. So for us, the DAO, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, is created so that we can have all of our ecosystem partners that are with us on this vision, as well as the community, like all of the PropC holders, be able to vote on the decision making. So we come up with proposals, right? That's the foundation. We come up with proposals to go in a certain direction, to set certain fees, to have certain rates, to set staking returns, whatever. And the community will essentially be able to vote.
The holders?
Everyone, every holder, every holder or ecosystem participant that holds PropC. So that will be one of the core mechanics for the PropC token, right? Whereas first in the last podcast, there was still a big vision on just having this as a utility token and kind of be out there to earn fees and to get benefits on the products that we built. We now really went looking into the governance side of things as well, because we believe that the vision is so big that we need all of the ecosystem participants to steer that with us in the right direction. So you need voting power. The second part is obviously utility for PropC, right? So let's keep it very simple. In the vertical prop.com, the fractionalized investment platform, PropC, for example, becomes a kind of a loyalty item. So people can stake PropC, and in exchange for that, they can start earning more rental returns from the real estate. They can start earning additional returns in PropC. So it becomes kind of this loyalty program. I mean, loyalty programs are very successful.
If I have real estate and I stake my PropC tokens,
on the platform.
On the platform, I can get more rent.
More returns, exactly.
Oh,
so there will be like a loyalty angle in that.
So you create a narrative where people are not being stimulated to take profits and sell, but they can hold and make it in another way back.
Exactly.
It's
still there. Yeah. And that has a lot of benefits, because I think that the majority of tokens out there, and this is also, by the way, a really good opportunity of RWA as a whole for the projects that play it smart, is that the majority of RWA investments is long term, especially when we're looking at real estate, right? So you're basically diversifying into that space to protect your wealth, to build it over time, to save up, and all the utility tokens that are integrated in a way that they really rely on the product usage, they will not really face a lot of blow off when the market runs to an end. In my opinion, we will probably even see an increase there, because we have products ready for people to diversify their wealth in on-chain, right? So there will be more volume in these products, meaning that you will also have more volume in your token, generally speaking. So, of course, you will have some hype volume blow off, but at the same time, that should be hedged by the volume that runs into your RWA products, right? The real estate or whatever the debt that you maybe issue on chain. So this is the narrative. So what you create then is kind of an uncorrelated token to the market, meaning when the market goes down, the token could probably go up and vice versa.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. So that's I think how RWA tokens, if they are engineered well, should be able to function. Other than that, the utility of PropC goes a lot broader. I mean, we are building full B2B tech stacks.
Okay, wait. So, because there's some things coming into my mind. First of all, economically looking, we're in a really weird situation. Like, all markets are going up right now, but there is a lot of uncertainty. A lot of people are scared for a recession. Last year, we saw some banks fall. The real estate sector is also now going up again, but that's what I wanted to ask. Like, when you look at Dubai, the real estate here is going up. Like, everyone is getting in. A lot of people suggest that it's a bubble. Me personally, I think, there is a lot of demand. You know,
the demand is still really exceeding
high. And more and more people like me too are leaving Europe to come and live here. So you get a real estate economy which is blowing up. I don't know, even if there would be a crisis or a recession, I don't know if the real estate market here would slow down, but I don't think so. So let's say that the real estate market here is pushing upwards. You guys are doing a lot in Dubai. So there will be a lot of demand. For me personally, Robin, the thing which I hate about real estate is the fact that I have to get in contact with people and talk to people to get my shit done. And he has to talk to him and he has to talk to him. If I can use a platform, let's say I have millions of dollars, I don't trust the banks, bro. I'm not going to store it on the bank. So I want to put it in property. So you're saying to me that I can do this all behind my desktop, my app, scrape the data. Maybe I can get someone in who helps me analyzing the data. I can put it in real estate. I can buy it myself. And also, do I have to buy with a couple of people, or can I also buy property
for
on my
now
own.
we have it. For now we have it that you need to buy it with a few people, but we're working on like a singular buys as well.
Oh,
so
but then you have to have like a lot of.
It's going to be some sort of like Uber Black, but then on prop.com.
Shit.
But again, I think that for us, prop.com and the concept of fractionalized real estate investment, it's kind of like if I would need to say what percentage does that cover of the whole ecosystem and the underlying, let's say the underlying utility of the token, then I think we should be somewhere in the range of 10 to 15%. Look, for us, the real estate market is so much broader than just buying and selling. The real estate market derives the majority of its value and demand for technological innovation generally in management, in debt, in financing, in ESG compliance now, which is becoming more and more important, the environmental sustainability of a building. So we have basically developed this fractionalized investment platform, not only because we think that it's a great business idea, but mainly because we wanted to show proof of concept to the market, right? We wanted to show that we are able to build technology that functions. Back then, when we launched it, there was obviously not that much around. I mean, now it's getting more crowded, so to say, in the crowdfunding-alike business model.
Yeah.
But for us, where we see the real value of PropChain and the underlying verticals is really in developing tech that digitizes the entire value chain. Because for me, it doesn't matter if the market is up or down, right? I just supply technology that makes the market more efficient and that makes bottom line result matter and actually go up. That we have a great business model where people can also park money in real estate in a very accessible manner is like an added benefit. But if you look at the true utility of PropC and how it's going to function in the technology side, so not just on the front end B2C product basically, but really in the B2B tech stack, that's where the real demand comes from for this utility token. That goes from gas fees, which I shouldn't even spoil at this time, but gas fees, it comes from subscription fees, it comes from development fees, it comes from royalties over buildings that we digitize. This is something else we're soon publishing.
B2B is like even,
it's crazy
it's
volume.
bigger than,
it's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
It's I think as I mentioned, at least 10 times bigger, but I predict that it will be even more. We will be publishing our token paper on this end, by the way, I think somewhere in the next few weeks, which is around 80 pages, I believe, just on the functionality of PropC as the utility token alone, as well as all the revenue models, how we are redistributing tokens to the ecosystem, to the governance side. You name it. Everything is in there. So we haven't been sitting still for the past year.
Wow, these guys have been working really hard. Yeah, and I also really think that we are heading towards an tokenized economy where we aren't like, let's say we had bull markets, bear markets, and in the bear market everything went down, but like the whole crypto sector, the blockchain technology, Web3, it's getting more advanced, it's getting more mature, and I really believe that we are going towards an era where like certain projects which are fundamentally blowing up don't care about the market anymore.
It will not. I think that we will also see a big flush out over time. You know, we're getting MiCA regulations in now, which is actually a really great step into the right direction. Can you explain to people
what MiCA regulations are?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, we're getting more into a standardized framework, regulatory framework for crypto assets, right? So markets in crypto assets, actually, markets in crypto asset registry, regulations, sorry. Which is great because that means that finally from a governmental level, we are getting maturitized adoption of cryptocurrencies and blockchain-based technology, which is great because, for the past so many years, we have seen ourselves mainly in cowboy land, right?
Website, white paper, hype it, pump it. That's it.
I mean, it was due for change, also for exchanges, crypto banking. I mean, there's so much that needs a certain standardization.
We need banks to shut the fuck up when I want to withdraw or deposit.
Exactly.
Okay, ING, come on.
It is
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but I think that it's also for the banks even.
It's better for them
They
too.
will be integrating a lot of the tech, you
Yeah.
know. So if you look at the banking process or any securitization process today, I mean, there's over 10 to 15 intermediaries involved, which makes
Crazy.
things slow, which
Yeah.
makes things expensive, which makes it highly annoying and inconvenient for customers to send funds because of compliance. So I think as I preached before, I think the whole blockchain narrative is not something that is introduced by a random guy named Satoshi Nakamoto. I think strongly that the whole blockchain narrative is introduced by a government, but was kind of a psyop maybe for a long time to make people feel that they can randomly send transactions and not being KYC'd. But since 2016, I'm actually already screaming that the only thing that withholds us in crypto from being completely controlled versus now what we see at banks and stuff is KYC. So the moment that KYC is introduced on and off ramps, and of course there's still like a lot of black market OTCs and that kind of stuff that happens, but exchanges now have KYC, all of them, pretty much all
true,
of them.
True.
So people that were preaching, we're anti-government and blockchain is the future of sending money anonymously, etc. Guys, that was
Totally
completely stupid because actually right now, the whole trace of your money is on a public ledger. So people can just go in there the moment your ID card is attached to that ledger.
Track everything.
It tracks everything. And in the future, that may even end up, or not may even end up, that will end up in automated taxing or taxation.
Guys, shout out to Houdini Swap.
You know, it's
Lock and load, guys. Houdini Swap. Privacy.
It's where it's all going, and I think eventually, to tap into that topic, all of these black markets will basically vanish or be like we know cash today. That's what for example, Monero will be, what several other privacy tokens will be. That will be the cash that we know today. If you want to get outside of the system, if you want to remain, and right now we're using cash, right?
True.
If you don't want to deal with the bank, so fundamentally, I think we're going to see a massive shift technologically. I mean, we're going to see the biggest financial revolution. All of our banking systems, clearing systems, regulation is outdated. We're looking at a system that is found in 1920 or something. I think from back then, the regulation and later obviously also the technology stems. So we're massively outdated for the technological advancement of financial markets today. So this is where we will see a crazy shift in wealth. We will see a crazy shift in control. And we will eventually also find maturity. And I think that is where we're all looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is flushing down, to come back to the point. A lot of the coins that are on the market, that's one. Second of all, I believe that RWAs will find their grounds. And they will find their grounds in a way where the technology matters. I don't think that the tokens will necessarily be a hype item. I think these will just keep on rising in value
it's like a
over
stock,
time.
Right? You look at the earnings, you look at the way they're
probably
progressing.
A lot will be equity tokens, but for the ones that remain utility based, there you will probably see like a lot of influx because there's demand.
True.
But that also will hang a lot on what part of the market remains private and what market becomes public. Because what we see now already in blockchain, within traditional finance, within banking, within real estate as well, is that a lot of the companies are private. So they use private blockchains. The applications that are developed are private. So the market doesn't really benefit from that, right? And I think that is only going to be more because right now, the whole RWA space and the tokenization is not the right word because I think tokenization, again, is just a small part. But this whole shift onto the blockchain is where crypto was 10 years ago, right? So we have found ourselves finding maturity in crypto and in regulations around crypto and in banking and you name it. But we are far out from finding maturity in tokenizing assets, bringing them on the blockchain, because that is so early. So you are really early in RWA.
You're still really early. Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
as early as buying Bitcoin at $20. You know,
Yeah.
that's how early I believe we are in RWA. Because if you look at the landscape, there's a lot that has been built, but it's all again siloed. So there's a lot of isolation, meaning that this whole thing needs to pop still.
So how are you going to maintain, like, let's see when we look at Twitter and people talk about the RWA narrative. Like in every list I see Prop C. It makes me proud. Be like, okay, everyone knows Prop Chain is a big player, RWA. But like you said, we are really early. And what we've seen in history of times is that when markets are really early, you see like, let's take MySpace, for example. MySpace comes up, it's the big thing. And then Facebook comes, wipes it away. So how are you guys going to manage and make sure that you guys will stay in on the top spot?
That's actually why we came up with the ecosystem approach, right? As I mentioned previously, we need collaboration. So we strongly pitch and pioneer, I think, shortly, because again, we are now in the presentation phase externally. We will thrive on partnerships. Again, this mission is huge. This mission is bigger than every single mission we had in the history of traditional finance. The real estate market is by far the largest tangible asset class globally. So that means that this is not something that is done by one party. This is a collaboration. And I believe that there are so many compartments to the real estate market where we are also well diversified because we target all of them. We will find ourselves in a position that we will always be leading the pack together with other people. And I think that's perfectly fine because there's enough pie for everyone, you know?
But some people are so short-sighted. They always think like everyone is competition.
Yeah,
I also see it in this space. Like
that's
people
what I
are
always
hating
say.
on me. Yeah, like guys, there's enough for everyone. Just
there
do your
is
thing.
enough for everyone.
We can grow together. Yeah.
I actually had a nice kind of discussion on Twitter a few days ago where you constantly see, for example, the competition that people then kind of bring up between us and Rio, Aurelio Network. I mean, look, these guys are doing a completely different thing, you know? Like, okay, we may have overlap in certain parts of our technology, but I will be even happy to speak with them and to see for the US, for example, if we could run portions of our applications on their blockchain infrastructure. At the other hand, I believe they need data oracles in order to feed their tokenization protocols, which we can deliver. So again, this is what I'm trying to explain as well to people, you know, like get rid of this competition mindset because there is definitely no competition. Yeah, okay, there's
this
also...
market is too infinite, guys.
I mean, but I understand why people say it because tokenization seems the next big thing for people, but people have zero clue that tokenization is not the big thing. The whole underlying single point of truth, data management, data supplying to the blockchain, that's where the actual market of tokenization is about. And that is what people don't understand. Even project founders don't understand this, which is, in my opinion, something that will kind of separate the wolves from the sheep, basically, to a certain extent. And that's good because we can also learn from each other. But when you have like the tunnel vision, you will never learn.
True.
And you will die out eventually because this space is going to be very harsh. Like if you're dealing with these kind of assets, especially real estate, it's a very conservative market, traditional finance, very conservative market. You will only be able to thrive in that market if you're open for change and if you're open to learn and if you're open to make partnerships, because that's how it has always been in the digitization of traditional financial markets.
Beautiful. Okay, guys, a lot of new information for Prop C. Personally, looking at, like, listen. We are speaking about real business here, like Robin is speaking about the B2B narrative. I'm really talking from your perspective. Like, I'm also really looking at this as a consumer because myself, I'm really interested in investing in property. So for the coming period, what's coming up? What can we expect from Prop C?
A lot. And there's really a lot in the pipeline.
Do you have some alpha for us?
Yeah, always. Look, for us, I think that, as I mentioned, right now, I think one major roadblock that we face, or one major obstacle, is that we now need to get the community educated about this grand new vision, right? Or
True.
It's for a lot of people, it's still very unclear what the difference is between prop.com and PropChain, for example. What is that narrative? What is that what we are building? So for us, the next few months is really focused on educating what is there.
So if you buy property, you buy with the PropChain token, right?
No, actually not. You buy with either stable coins or with fiat currency, and PropC is basically used as a staking mechanism to enhance your
because
rewards
the
or
token
fees.
is too volatile to...
Exactly. It wouldn't make sense either.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a payment token. But I think that if you look at the timeline now, you will see us do a lot of effort when it comes to education. So how do we educate our current community so that they are all speaking the same language, right? That's one. Then the next part is that obviously for us now, the main driver for the next 18 months or 12 months, depending on how this bull cycle will develop, is that we are very focused on partnerships, both in Web3 as well as in the traditional financial world and traditional real estate, where we have some really, really big names that we will be announcing, top-level players out of the real estate space. So this is a really big one. What else? We obviously looking to further optimize the liquidity. So we're having another couple exchange listings coming in. Also now heading into the tier 1 field. We have established ourselves, I think, in tier 2. So we're moving on the next stage, which is all going to happen in the next 2 months, so to say. The same goes for the liquidity itself. So we're partnering up with tier 1 market makers as well to further optimize the distribution of that liquidity in the token itself, which is becoming fundamentally important now that we're also heading into the B2B partnerships, right? There needs to be more flexibility in that the costs are increasing. So we also need to have that liquidity.
It's already good.
It's already good.
The price action is
good.
very stable. Like you don't see any big dumps.
I mean, it's good, but we can always do better. So for us, that is a major focus as well. And then I think the next part is really developing on the pilots again. Furthermore, events. We will be hosting our own events, but we'll also be participating. You will also be able to find us on Token 2049 here in Dubai. And really, really putting a lot of focus in business development and further education, informational resources, interviews. As you have seen, we have taken a lot of PR here on this side of the pond. We are getting picked up by local media, which is great, and we continue that. GITEX is coming in as well again, where we will be present. The MIPIM in south of France, the biggest real estate fair, where we will be also in the topic for the next edition. Actually, this year we have some of our representatives there. So we are really focused now on growing the ecosystem, growing the partners, seeing if we can do maybe a few government-based pilots as well with the tech, and kind of building on that maturity. Because the token is nice, and the token community around it, as you said already, we are not focused on price action at all. I mean, we know that we develop valuable products that eventually influence demand. And we have always been doing that. I mean, we have been building, and that's why we have a position now. But the switch to making noise has come for us now, right? So this year, especially with those market conditions, it's all about making noise and having ourselves being heard. So
because guys, I spoke to Robin, and like there are some things which he can't like share right now, but there is a lot coming up for PropC. And looking at the market conditions right now, it's a very fast-paced market, so the pace is going up, and these guys are ready to deliver. So me and my community, we're also ready. We are going to buy a property using the PropC platform, because I believe that in the coming years, you really have to be smart with your money. Like a lot of people are making money right now with crypto, messaging me, "Yo, Stasher, can I buy your car in Holland because I'm leaving?" Like I'm seeing these guys printing, and I'm like, "Yo, bro, you can't like buy a car with your first 100K. You should invest smart. We should grow to a million and go into the millions." So we are going to pick up that narrative too. Me, with my community, we're also going into the real estate. But first, we're going to make these guys print more. Bro, one more thing. What I wanted to ask you is a personal question. I saw you in the top 100 CEOs of Dubai, making some huge steps. Can you tell me more about that? Like, which ranking were you and why were you picked?
So I was on ranking 63, actually. Yeah, why was I picked? That's actually a good question. I think that, as I mentioned already, we have been able to get exposure here. We have been on the front cover of Gulf Business a while ago, which was related to my story with PropChain and the vision of PropChain, as well as the Welfare Group, which is obviously my holding company and TradFi company. And we have been making moves here, basically. We have been developing real estate. We have been developing technology, and it's getting picked up, which is great. And that's how we also ended up in the list, which is really nice exposure.
In Dubai, 62. Guys, you have Dubai. Some crazy businessmen here. This guy's on 63.
It was a real honor to be next to like the CEO of Emar and these kind of people. Nice. That was really, really nice. Furthermore, it has also brought us quite a bit because the recognition is there. It adds to, I think, the layer of credibility also to regulators here, to government bodies and so forth. And I think that what is really nice is that now every time you fly to Dubai, the magazine is actually in business class and first. So it's also a bit of a flex, obviously. But yeah, very proud of that. But this is obviously not just my work, you know. I'm getting the reward for this stuff. But I have a business partner. I have a great team of people which are mainly responsible for this because I'm just implementing a vision. And it's absolutely worth noting that for me, this vision cannot be materialized without them, you know? So to all of the people in the Welfare Group, which is now over, 150, I believe, over the whole globe, they have made this possible, not me. It was just an idea.
Shout out to you guys. Yeah, doing some great work. So, Robin, looking at the youth right now, so we have a lot of like young followers. We can also see a shift in money. We see young people making more money at a younger age. The thing which you mentioned was that you want to emphasize more on education and bringing this education with product to the community so they understand the product better. So yeah, I really believe that you guys have to visualize a lot for us so we can really see the project, understand it, so we can buy, because it's new for us, tokenization of assets. So first of all, that one. Second of all, we're going to follow the project heavily. Also, the community is invested heavily because, Stasher believes in it. And guys, just listening to you today, it made my confidence for this project go up, man. And I really hope, and like, I like that we can print a lot of money with crypto, but we have to be honest. It's a low liquidity market, a lot of pumps and dumps, a lot of fake projects. It's time to go to a more mature market. And within now and 2-3 years, all these shitty projects that print 100x, 80x with low liquidity, they will not exist anymore. And then you have to look at projects with real use case, real utility, real fundamentals. And PROPC is one of those projects. I can literally hold my PROPC for the coming 10 years and not stress about it and know that it will give me great amount of profits. So, brother, I really want to thank you for this conversation. Anytime. Really educational also for me. Guys, follow Robin on Twitter, bro. What's your Twitter?
PropChain Master.
PropChain Master. Follow him because he writes some great threads about PropChain. I'm reading them always. And your Instagram, you're gonna change the name soon?
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, you can find me shortly under my own name. Actually, it's already there. I've finally been able to acquire it because someone else registered it, actually. But it's there. It will be under my own name, which you can find on my Twitter profile, actually. So
great. Also, Robin is younger than me, guys. It's crazy. Like, this guy gives me like mature vibes. Like, or I was sleeping too long, or you're going too hard, bro. But I really respect it. And
Who
last
knows?
but not least, for the youth, bro, like, do you have some advice for these younger people who are sitting in their room and they also want to become like a big CEO or make lots of money? What should you advise them? Because a lot of people are stuck, they're depressed in Holland, like they're down. Stasher, can you please help me? Can you send me some money? Can you please... What can you advise these people? How can they go from 0 to like 100K first?
Yeah, look, first of all, I think everything starts with like your own mental state of being, like whatever is there, whatever dream you have, whatever desire you have, you know, it starts with being open to opportunities being thrown at you. So I think that getting in a shape, getting into a certain state of mind is the main priority that you have. If you are not working out today, if you are not doing something on your presence, looking good, and you can look good for 20 euros as well, you know, but the majority of the youth today is really brainwashed by social media. They look like absolute morons. They are not working out. They're just lazy. And that's kind of where it all starts. So first of all, you change that. The second part, which is really important in order to become successful, is that you take some dedication into one certain topic. What you see now too often is people switch from e-com to forex to crypto, to name all of the famous online business models. And I think in all of them you can make good money. In fact, we own all of them. I mean, we have exposure in all of those.
Me too.
In all
Me
of
too.
the you
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So, but the core problem is that people are having such a short attention span that they try it for a week, and when they don't see success, they quit. That's not how it works. So you commit to something, you do it for at least a year, you give it your all, and after a year, you're going to decide if it's something for you, yes or no. Because then you can never say you haven't tried well, right? And then I think the third part is people are always in a rush, which is kind of driven by an ideal kind of picture that is being sketched on social media and in modern day society. And I think you should get rid of that. I mean, look, I'm sitting here with 11 years of, and that's still very quick, by the way, 11 years of experience behind me, and a lot of experience traveling the world, having companies do well, having companies go bankrupt, having to carry opinions. Nothing is as it seems. So get rid of that I need to be successful tomorrow mentality. It's great to have the drive, but don't judge yourself if you don't make it in that particular time span. And then I think the last part of that is that you always should be honest with yourself. I see too many people lying to themselves. They're lying to themselves about their success. They're lying to themselves about their happiness. They're lying to others about it as well, by the way. But the most important person is you, because it's always a battle between you and you. And the only thing that should be your example is you in 10 years. And that's also your only opponent that you are battling, and no one else. So you should be battling yourself every single day, because there's always someone outworking you. Don't forget that. And as a nice little funny line there, a crackhead, when he wakes up, he is not thinking about not smoking crack that day. So don't get outworked by a crackhead. That's very important. That was it for the day.
Great, bro. Really want to thank you. It was a great conversation.
Thank you. Likewise.
And guys, we will update you about the projects. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Like this video. Put out a comment. Show some love for Robin, for PropChain. And we're going to see you soon. Anders.